Good morning, everybody, or should I say, wakey, wakey. Better yet, cockerel doodle doo, the weekly review with me and the Cough. How are you, Cough?
Doing good. The clock has gone forward this week, so we're all a bit groggy. We don't know what time it is anymore. So it's always fun, but always lovely to spend time with my brother Daigle, and we're going to just annoy each other about nonsense, and we're going to have fun.
And let's get the show.
Tottenham on tour.
And here we go, guys. So, back by popular demand after our first one we did, that was an absolutely brilliant show. And thank you, everyone, for the comments that we got on it. So, we're going to start our weekly review, and we're going to start with the awkward silence is deafening. Now, Ben, obviously, we speak very regularly, and obviously, Spurs Twitter and Spurs social media and Spurs fans everywhere. There's been one topic basically of discussion all week, hasn't there? And it's all around Antonio Conte, and we're going to get to the managers later. But what does this silence and nothing from the board, what does it mean or speak to you about? Oh, and before you answer that, I have to say, which I said to you on do at the beginning, a big thank you to our Mr. 57 screens, Mr. Wayne Bonner, because he said he's got something for me and he's going to send it in the post, and he did. And I'm going to be quiet whilst Ben speaks because the silence is deafening. And for that, all I have to say is,
Everyone's going to be like, "Oh,
yep,
you need to do some, what's it called? Music." That's
it, mate. You're doing it with the fingers, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like one of those, you know, in COVID, how to wash your hands.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna. That's what it'll be. But back to you, mate. The silence is deafening.
This is my main complaint on why I am so on this bandwagon of we need a change at the football club. At any business in the world, there is transparency. Not Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. They have literally no idea what it makes you feel as a supporter, as a fan, or even as they, in their words, client, when there's no information coming from the club. We've had an absolutely damning statement from an employee at the football club about the whole well-being of the team, of the way the management structure, and how. And we're here arguing with each other because there's no news, there's no transparency, and that is unacceptable at $1 billion organization. You've got to be saying all the way when you have a club, because this is a club still, whilst there is the name Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, it is still a club, even though they can dress it up as PLC or Tottenham Hotspur Stadium Limited Company or Tottenham Hotspur Doohickeys Company, or whatever you want to call it. There is no transparency, and that is awful, because what they are doing is they're adding fuel to the fire. Yep. They're adding fuel to the fire. They're making us explode, and they're watching us burn, and they're just sitting there. Oh, this is fine, isn't it? It's not right what they're doing with the Auckland sites. They should, day after, they should say, right, this is what's happened. We're having an internal discussion about it, and then we will see what they do from here. But no, we just keep us quiet. 50% off at the club shop.
Well, we're going to get to that at the very end, as you know. That's going to be discussed. But listen, what's more says to say now? A friend of mine and someone that's very, very well known on Twitter by the name of Billy T, who comes up with some of the funniest tweets and as well as startling facts that are just embarrassing. Well, he tweeted one 2 hours ago, and it's already got close to 1,400 likes and loads of retweets. And it says, not saying we are taking our time sacking Conte, but since that press conference, the clocks have gone forward. Roy Hodgson has come out of retirement. Lance Reddick has died and starred in John Wick 4. Kane has broken the England goal-scoring record, and Bayern have sacked and hired a manager. That's what's happened this week. Now, obviously, this is a whimsical, comedic look at things. Obviously, we know what's going on, but what gets me with this is since last Saturday, obviously Twitter went ablaze, social media went ablaze, the world of football went ablaze. And it was headline news, wasn't it? This was the story. And obviously it was more embarrassment coming our way that we're used to. But since then, it's been rumour after rumour. But even the club came out and said, we'll have a decision, or we'll be speaking about Conte's future within 48 hours. They can't even get that right. The 48 hours was passed by 48 hours on Friday, and we're still here.
Hours. It's longer than when Danny Kyriacou said he was going to show up at the coffee company.
Yeah, isn't it, mate? Well, mate, when you try and compare that to Danny Kyriacou blames her out the water. And by the way, good luck in everything in Amsterdam, Danny. It was great for your leaving drink last night, brother. But yeah, getting back to the silent, there's just absolutely no word. And then you hear Sky Sources this, or this source, or ITKs, or whatever. And still, like you said, Ben, you said it last week as well. The chain in command has been completely broken when it comes to players going to the manager. When it goes on, sorry, my mother is just going to walk past everyone. She's going to get a lovely view of my mum in a minute. Go on, mum.
Hello, everyone.
Oh god!
There you go.
Super real.
She's introduced herself. There you go. So yeah, getting back to this, without doing anything, it's just speaking. It's more shame, isn't it, Ben? It's more shame on the club.
I do have to preface, as soon as you brought up Lance Reddick, as a Destiny 2 player, I do need to say a massive RIP to Lance Reddick. I've heard that man's voice for the last 9 years of my life since I played Destiny. So a massive RIP and all well wishes to his family. But we said it last week. Levy wants to be one of the lads. He wants to be one of the boys. So he loves it when the players go straight to him with his issues because he thinks he's one of the crew. And that is a terrible precedent at a football club. You need to have a structure, hierarchical structure. Chairman, board members, director of football recruitment team, yada, yada, all the way to players. There is no... If they're undermining the chain of command, that is a real problem because it means there's no... The manager gets chucked under the bus every time then. That there's no point of having a manager. You might as well have the players running it. Oh, we're going to do the tactics this week because if we don't like them, we're just going to go to the owner. You might as well have that. I would actually be okay with Harry Kane doing the tactics because at least it'd be like, right, you give me the ball, I'll put it in the back of the net. But it's not a good look at all. And we can talk about this all day, Brian, that the silence is deafening. It is unacceptable that there's no... Either way, he should probably be gone. I like this manager. I would keep this manager. But there's no point in him being here. So bring back David Pleat.
But you look at it now as well. We're building up to Everton, which is like obviously just over a week away, 8 days to be precise. Players will start coming back from international duty soon. Haven't got a clue what's going on. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they know a bit more than us, obviously, inside, but they haven't got a clue. When they do come back, are these players going to be... what's the point of playing for you? I'm going to throw you under the bus, or are they going to be, okay, now you've pissed me off, I'm going to show you what I can do? And we don't even know. How do you start planning for Everton when you still don't even know who the manager is?
There's no plan at Tottenham Hotspur. There has not been a plan in 23 years, hence why there is a scattergun approach of transfers. There is no plan. We do everything on the fly. There is no long-term plan, and that is what we're asking for. It's what the Supporters Trust asked for, to line out your plan. And then they scoffed at us by saying, oh, this is what we've done in the past. We want to know where we're going. We're at a critical moment where we're seeing other big teams emerge, like the Newcastles. We've seen Man United in the midst of a takeover. Liverpool will be back next year. Chelsea have had a takeover and they're restructuring their business. Arsenal have got their act together. Brighton look like they're going to get the top four.
Man, you were about to get done.
Now, we need a plan now. You need to have long-term preparations. It's the day after tomorrow. This is what we're at. If you've ever seen the day after tomorrow, we need to be making long-term plans now. Not tomorrow, not the day after, not in 4 weeks, not yesterday, now. And we're not doing it because we don't like plans. We like to change our opinion every 2 minutes. We're like my family at Friday night dinner. And it's not fair. It's not fair on the club. It's not fair on the fans. It's not fair on the other employees at the club because they're being left in the mud as well. And it's unacceptable.
You're right, Ben. And you know what? We're talking about how it's unacceptable, and we're talking about who's in charge, when they're in charge, who's it going to be. Let's have a little game, shall we? Let's play a weekly game of manager top trumps. Because your manager is better than mine, and your manager, and this has got European pedigree, and this one is a young progressive coach. This one's an old experienced coach. Again, how many different names this week alone? And rumours. I mean, obviously, Tuchel is now completely off the... I didn't want him. Were you a Tuchel fan?
He's a good coach for another team. If he comes in here, we'll be having this conversation in 18 months.
Yep.
Same conversation.
Yeah.
I don't like him. He looks like Skeletor.
Oh, mate, he so does, doesn't he? He's so bloody well
Skeletor.
does.
That's a shout out to Kim that calls him Skeletor.
Yeah, without a doubt. I use it for gifts whenever I speak about him on Twitter. But then obviously Nagelsmann came up. What's your thoughts on Nagelsmann?
Nagelsmann is a very good coach. I would have him in and build the future around him because he's a very analytical person. But he will do what Conte does when people do not do his plans. He will throw them under the bus. He will say, I'm the coach. This is what I want you to do. And if you don't do it, it's your fault. I'm not the person on the pitch. And that is a recipe for disaster if you've got the power-hungry players like we have that want to be the manager. So get in Nagelsmann and build the team around him. Give him a 5-year contract with an option for 2 more if he does well, that we can. And you build the club around him. He's a young progressive manager, and he does play attacking football. Good football as well. I liked his stuff at Leipzig. He's not worked well at Bayern, maybe with big egos and whatnot.
Yep.
If you build a young team around this manager, he will do well. But we will not stick with a manager. We immediately support the players. So it will not work. David Pleatin.
There you go. So let's have a look. Let's play. If you had your managerial top 3, not with who you think's going to come, forget that. The with everyone that you've heard rumoured, who is your 3?
It's Nagelsmann. It's Pochettino. And let's put an old experienced head in there. It'd be someone, what's the Atalanta manager? Gasperini.
Okay.
If you're going to continue with the Italian route, if let's say Paratici stays, I don't think Paratici's staying anytime soon. At least put an Italian name in there. Gasperini would be a good fit for the club in terms of he still plays 3-4-3. He's an older manager, so he will only be there for 2 or so years. So that fits in with Tottenham's long-term plan of only having a manager for 18 months. He can put a basis of 3-4, attacking 3-4-3. I will probably get slaughtered in the comments for this, but oh well. Pochettino, we all love Pochettino, but not under this ownership. And Nagelsmann is definitely a good manager that if you build around, he will build a philosophy, especially if a lot of people have been saying in comments of videos, maybe bring in Ralph Rangnick as the sporting director, because those two work together in the Red Bull group. Those two know each other very well. So that's always an option.
So do you know what? I'm now going to throw a huge curveball your way. So out of that 3, we're going to take, what's his name? I've forgotten his name already. The German guy. The one that, why have I forgotten his name?
Nagelsmann.
No, yeah, sorry. Where did that go? Nagelsmann, I'm going to take off the table just because I'm going to put him in the link that he's like the crown jewel.
Yeah.
He is like the one that obviously a lot of people, because of his name, so I'll take him off the table.
Yeah.
I'm also going to take Pochettino off the table because obviously that's the people's choice and we know how we feel about not under this ownership. So now you're down to Gasperini. Who's your next 2? You're going to fill your 3 up. But for me as well, Pochettino and Nagelsmann are off the table.
Arne Slot's a good manager. He's at the top of the... but he won't be able to come until the summer. I haven't really got any other choices. I don't want De Zerbi yet. He hasn't proved himself in the Premier League and he's doing well at Brighton. So I don't want to just ruin Brighton because that's not a good idea. And Brighton are doing well at the moment. De Zerbi is a choice, but I don't think he can't just make that jump immediately. I don't think he's going to make that jump. You've got Marco Silva at Fulham is a good choice, but he's a mercenary. As soon as he gets an offer for a top club, he's gone. He's done it. He did it at Watford. He did it at Everton, and so forth and so forth. But most important choice, David Pleat, because
so there's your three. So my first choice, as you know, I've said it all the time, is Thomas Frank.
Thomas Frank's a great manager.
Thomas Frank, listen, I honestly rate this dude for what he's done at Brentford is absolutely brilliant. And people have been saying to me, but Brian, he hasn't managed at the top. God knows if he'll be able to do it. Well, Pochettino hadn't.
Yeah.
Martin Jol hadn't. Harry Redknapp hadn't. Yes, he'd managed Premier League, but he hadn't been at the level and demands Tottenham had. It seems to be the best three managers we've had under the Parasite has been people that exactly. And do you know what?
Not even unknown because he's a great manager.
Exactly. So you look at it, and I think the only drawback for him not coming to us would be the very fact that everyone loves him at Brentford and he loves everyone, and they're going down the same track. They're like, we're all going. So he's definitely my number one. Number two is someone you said. When we were out last night, Stel spoke about him a lot. And I took a lot on board what he said. I like I said, I can't speak from seeing him a lot. But with what Stel was telling me, his stats, what he's doing, Arne Slot, or what is it, Arne Slot or
Arne Slot? Yeah,
Arne Slot is definitely now my number two. Come out of absolute nowhere. And number three,
David Pleat. Go on, David Pleat. Bring him back in, 78-year-old David Pleat. That's what you need.
Number three, I think I'm gonna go Luis Enrique. I think it's very hard. It's very hard for me to actually pick a third. Those two are so clear. The two I've said, obviously, you've got Nagelsmann that I said is the crown jewel. But yeah, I've been banging the Thomas Frank drum so hard. And then obviously what Stel said about Arne Slot. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go Luis Enrique. But as we all know, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Luis Enrique would be a bad choice in terms of not because he's a bad manager. He's a very, very good manager. If you've gone from Conte to Enrique, that's full Enoch at Tottenham, full scattergun. You've gone from pragmatic, defensive style manager to possession-based football, like tiki-taka football.
Yep.
That is like you're going from this way to that way. That would not. You've got to go. If you want to go to that, you've got to find someone in the middle and then progress over to that style.
You're right.
You can't just make that jump again because our squad is not. It's not capable. We would have to bin the entire squad, which we should do anyway. But we're not going to because we're going to keep the Harry Winkses. We're going to keep the Eric Dyers and Joe Rodons. We're going to keep them. I'd love to have a Luis Enrique possession-based football. Slightly pragmatic his Spain team. They kept the ball brilliantly, but that is a good way of playing football, 4-3-3, but it's never going to happen because he's going to say, I need these players to play possession-based football, and it's going to happen again. Instead of getting Bruno Fernandes, we're going to get Gedson Fernandes. Instead of asking for Skriniar, we're going to get Joe Rodon. Instead of getting Gary Cahill, we're going to get Ryan Nelson at 42.
Yep, with glass knees. I mean, you're right. Do you know what? Now that you said that, going from one extreme to the other, it really worries me that he's going to.
What's going to happen? It's the scattergun approach. It's going from there to there.
Yep, which he's known for. And you raise a good point. When this manager does come in, he's got to take into account all the crap that's coming back.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to heavily eat this budget again that we get told, oh, this is the summer. It's another pack of lies, in my opinion. We'll get to the summer again. Oh, we're investing another 150, and everyone will go, oh yeah, look, it's amazing. Oh look, they're going the right way this time. Well, spend 150 million on two players. Yeah. I go, there you go. There's two centre backs or a centre back and creative midfielder. This manager top trumps. How many more names do you reckon we'll be linked with before there's an announcement?
Oh, a million. We're not going to have a manager until the first game of the season. He's going to come in that day, and it's going to be like The Price is Right. Come on down.
Can you imagine they just do that in the stadium? They just put the spotlight around.
Down, yeah. Come
mate.
on down.
Could you imagine if they called Ryan Isaacs or Ben Daniel or some Stell down? It was Jesus Christ. Jesus
Who's
Christ, that would
manager
be
for this week? Revolving manager. We can have the ancient Greek system of democracy where everything was jury duty. So we can have who's going to be the Tottenham manager this week?
Oh mate, that would be wicked. We get all the YouTubers in different things. Simeon as well. It would just, mate, that would just be insane. But you know what? We're going to finish off. We got two more topics because I forgot one that we are going to definitely end up on one. I forgot we need to do something. I'm just adding him now. But we'll go to the next topic, which is merchandising. So in a week where all this has happened, we have had our pre-season tour announced that we're going to Australia. And Harry Kane's not on that photo, so that started a wild amount of rumours. Why any the poster boy? Why any this? Why any that? The season ticket rumours of prices going up for everything we've had to endure. It's like, here you go, pay some more money for this. We've had the fan engagement tweet where they're going to be.
Tottenham Hotspur, number one in the world for fan.
Tottenham Hotspur have agreed to the fan. Welcome the fan engagement. I can't even get it out. I can't even get it out. And obviously, we've had these kits leaked once again. But where do you want to start with the merchandising?
That's brilliant, isn't it? Fan interaction from Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, the club that is so in the dark about everything, and they're welcoming us to be part of the football club. It's hilarious. When the supporters trust actually asked them for sort of integration or a bit of talking, they just throw them out, and now they want us back. What do you want? Do you want us to be part? Do you not want us to be part? What is this? Just please tell me what you want, Tottenham. It really is merchandising. It's hysterical. It's absolutely brilliant.
It does make me laugh. I mean, I put a tweet out, and loads of people also did tweets. When that tweet came out, and it said, I did a tweet that said, things we don't know, and put crosses against them. I said, we don't know who our manager is. We don't know if our manager's got a job or who it's going to be next season. We've got no idea if our director of football is going to be there. We have no idea if our stars are going to be there.
Yeah.
But things we do know, we're going to Australia for pre-season. And it was just like, do you know what? It's like, I think every time that this club know that shit is coming their way, they literally program the social media team into believing. I think they've got one of Will Smith's Men in Black nebulizers, and they just go, it's April the 1st. They just say it's April Fool's Day, tweet something to get some attention. Because I don't understand how they can be doing this. I mean, after the Conte outburst, everyone was waiting for a tweet from them on Monday to break their silence. Yeah. And when they did, it was a tweet to show every single angle of Porro's goal against Southampton.
It's just embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. They are making us look like it's what Wayne Holland says. They are trolling us.
Yep.
They are deliberately running us through the ground. It's so condescending that's what we want to hear. We want to see Porro's first goal. Great goal. But I don't want to see. I want to know what the plan is. We need to know what this is now. This is how the football club treats us. We are clients. We are not supporters anymore. If we wanted to watch Porro's goal, we'd go on the internet and watch Porro's goal. We don't need that shotgunned in our face. It's humiliating almost. It's almost humiliating because now every single club around us is laughing at us. It makes us, it's the, what's it called? It's the self-hating. It's just like, come on, it's masochism. It's masochism.
You know what, Ben? I actually think in Levy's office, and in the PR and social media, it's just like one big fun house where there's like the Wheel of Fortune, and it's got different names to link players with.
Yeah.
There's a dartboard, and when they throw a dart, it's like 15% off this, or skywalk that, or let's show a picture of the beer. I think there's games like you said, like The Price is Right, and instead of winning a prize, they spin one, throw a
Yeah.
dart, then maybe try and play a trick shot in pool, and they come up with let's start that off, because they have absolutely no clue whatsoever on what's going on. They even posted something yesterday which made me laugh. This is Spurs official yesterday, posted something about two guys that were in the FIFA Tottenham World Cup final, or whatever it was, the finals of this virtual PlayStation, and everyone was like, "Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You're officially tweeting right now with all this going on. Check out the lads playing virtual or playing FIFA. Look, fair play to those guys that got to the final. This ain't at them.
Fair play.
I mean, mate, I don't even play FIFA, but I'd love to have the skills like that. Fair play to them. But this is the club that's going through the absolute shithole.
There is only one thing this reminds me of. If you've ever seen the South Park episode of Margaritaville, where the world goes wrong, the economy dies, and then they go to the economy office, and their way of deciding things was cutting the head off a chicken, throwing it on the ground, and where it lands, and it always lands on bail them out. This is what that is. It's, if anyone knows Big Al's in Barkingside, it's like that, but without the fun. Big up, Big Al's. Big up, Big Al's.
Mate,
It's back to merchandising. It is merchandising.
Well, what is your, talking of merchandising, what are your thoughts on the three kits? Have you seen them?
I won't buy them anyway, so
Yeah.
There's no point. If it looks good, it looks good. That home kit looks a bit suspect. Some people like it. I like Nike kits, but the last 10 years of them have been shocking. It's now just cookie cutter kits. There's no sort of this. That is what it is. It's all of them are the same design. There's no sort of personality to them. It's not like the Under Armour kits, the Adidas kits. There's not a person designing them. It's a computer software. Oh, this is what a kit should look like. Shove it all to all the kits. It is not fashion. This is football clubs. They should have a Tottenham Nike representative that's chosen by the club or the fans of the club. They go to Nike and they help design the kit. And so this is the history of the club, and it's cookie cutter.
Yep, you're right. I mean, I've had a huge problem with Nike the whole time. Their away kits, I think, have been a lot better than the home, and that's not saying much. Like, you've got the iconic Moro shirt. There's been a couple of away shirts that are good and different, but the home kits, every single one of them have been horrific. The fact that this year's kit is just a yellow strim around here compared to last season or the season before, the home kits are horrific. The away kits haven't been much better. The third kit that's great, like you said, Ben, it means all to me, because you won't catch me dead in one, and I won't spend a single penny on them. But Nike just, I can't do it. There's something, another tweet I saw when we were talking Nike. We're coming up to 4 years in that stadium now.
Yeah.
April the 3rd is the 4-year anniversary of that stadium, of like the official, like, obviously you have the friendlies and yada yada. That's the first official game. I haven't got naming rights.
No.
How hard? This was all meant to be the Nike Stadium. I'm getting away from it, but just because that 4 years reminded me. But the home kits have just been goddamn awful, and they think, like you said, cookie cutter. But they're like, let's put bits of the stadium in.
Yeah.
I mean, surely what I don't get as well, like with the scuba diving one this year.
I hate that kit.
Mate, they were releasing that for 2 years, and everyone on social media was like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's atrocious. And then you see all these, what are they called? The people that design it, like mock kits that they've designed themselves, and they're a billion times better than Nike.
Yeah.
And they get such good reviews. Nike must see it and go, okay, well, they love this mock-up. They hate our one. Let's go with our one.
Yeah.
And it's just shocking. But listen, there's always time for merchandising.
Yeah.
Merchandising, and hopefully there'll be loads of these coming your way soon to buy. And this is real merchandising. But yeah, I forgot one thing we needed to end on, mate. There's just one thing without a doubt. We ended with a bit of fun there. Now we're going to end with, how many times in your lifetime are you likely to say this? That your record goal scorer for your club and country play for your team. I know Manchester United had it with Rooney. Rooney's lost that title now because of obviously Kane's got the goals. But we have the GOAT when it comes to this. We have the number one goal scorer in Tottenham Hotspur's history.
Yeah.
We have the number one goal scorer in England's history. I think he's done it in 30-odd games quicker than Rooney. Yeah. It's history again by this man, isn't it?
This man is so criminally disrespected by fans of other football clubs. But there's one more thing he has to break at his age, at 30, which is it's 29, 30. I don't know if he's actually 30 yet.
30 this summer.
It's astounding. When he breaks Shearer's record in the next year, because he's going to break the record, he only needs 50-odd goals. I think it's 52 goals.
Yep.
Which he could do quite easily if he gets 10 more this year, which he couldn't. It's Harry Kane. Yep. Gets 30 or whatever. He's going to be the best striker in the Premier League to have never won a trophy. And that's all down to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Yep. The man is so good. And it's from rags to riches in a way, because Arsenal kicked him out of the academy. He went on 1 million loans to Norwich's, to Leicester's, to Leyton Orient's, to Millwall's. And everyone thought, oh, he's a good player, but he's never going to be the guy. But he's worked so hard at his craft that he's hit the top. So for any young kid looking at football players and wanting to be a footballer, he's the man you look at, because he was not a man with immeasurable talent like a Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney, in terms of talent, is far beyond Harry Kane. He's one of the greatest players to ever lace up a pair of boots, Wayne Rooney. Yep. And Harry Kane has gone past him with pure hard work, dedication, eating well, doing exactly what the coach has told him. And that's a real footballer. That's Roy of the Rovers. It's perfectly Roy of the Rovers. We need to be celebrating this guy whilst he's still here for another year. And when he leaves, because he's going to leave in a year, he won't leave this summer. And we've just got to say thank you for being the only good part of this last 15 years. And I can only give him the thank you from the bottom of the heart of Tottenham on Tour and from everyone connected with us.
Yep. I mean, the thing that I love the most, I mean, don't get me wrong, I wish he'd done it at home. I wish he'd done it at Wembley. That would have been his. But the joy it must have given him to break it with a penalty after the World Cup and missing that penalty, which could have destroyed him. For him to step up and take that penalty, yes, it's a friendly, but he knows this is the kick that could be another part of history for me. This is all eyes are on me. And for this man to do it, like
it was a qualifier, wasn't it? It wasn't a friendly.
Oh, was it a qualifier? I didn't even
qualifier.
Mate, I was too busy doing a fan show for us, so I've got no idea if it was a qualifier friendly. I know it's Ukraine today in a qualifier, so I didn't even know the qualifiers had started. That's how out of touch I am with it all. But listen, like you said, this man, I say to people, there's times that we've heard about the Jimmy Greaves, the George Bests. And all the players like that are history makers in this country. And you hear our parents, our grandparents, our uncles, our whatever, talk about this guy with such fondness and such love and such everything. And then when it comes down to it, you look at it, and this has been our Jimmy Greaves. This has been our George Best. This man is history. This man is absolutely outstanding. And I think you're right, mate. We've got to enjoy this while we got him.
Yep. We're not going to have him for much longer. I mean, he's 30 this year. His career is going to start to go down now. He could be like a Ronaldo or a Zlatan, where they keep going at the top of their game for another 8 years. Yep. He's not going to do that at Tottenham because this club have not backed him. They've not put a team around him to succeed. If they put a team around him now to succeed at his age, he could go on for another 5-6 years, because all he has to do is put the ball in the back of the net or drop deep and spray a couple of crossfield balls.
Yep.
He's never had pace, so he doesn't need pace. So Just build the team round him. Build the team round him. And when he retires, give him a role at the football club because my God, has he deserved it.
You are completely bang on the money. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we are going to end it. Ben, it's been a pleasure, as always, my brother. We'll be back next Sunday for our weekly review as we go back to the future. So join us next Sunday. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We really do appreciate everything and everyone enjoying the feedback that we got from it last week. We look forward to hearing about what you think about the awkward silence, the manager top trumps, merchandising, and of course Harry Kane the GOAT. So from me, Ben, Tottenham on tour, and as wait a minute, let me get you keep your fingers going. I want to make sure that I don't leave us hanging with the. There we go. And as always, Levy out.